Today on the Long Gunner, we're going to be reviewing the Athlon Rangecraft. Over the last few years, I have primarily been running a magneto speed to collect all of my velocities. And I will say it has worked good. I've never missed a shot with this thing, and so far, fingers crossed, I have not shot it. I haven't had it misadjusted. But I do run into problems with it the more that I shoot suppressed. For a precision rifle, you can't run this thing with a can using a can cover. So then without that, it ends up giving you a lot of heat distortion after a couple of rounds, and it can kind of blow your groups up. And that's where running something like this that has the Doppler radar, where you just set it beside your rifle, definitely comes in handier. So I decided to purchase this Athlon. You should be able to find these things for around 350 bucks. And I decided to buy this one primarily because of that price point. Now, in the past, I've also used like the old lab radar, which I can't say I was a real big fan of. I mean, it was too big, things shook in the wind. I mean, it was a huge kite. The new lab radar worked fairly well. The app for it was all right. I've used a lot of the Garmin at work through shooting with all of our reps and stuff like that, product knowledge meetings. We always use the Garmin, and it has turned out really well. But I don't know, this one just kind of caught my interest again because it was cheaper, but I wanted to see, it's got a lot of the same functions of the Garmin, and I downloaded their app to my phone, and I will say I do kind of like their app as well. So later we'll go over the app, but right now let's talk about what you get in the box, and let's run through some functions and stuff with it. So let's pop this open, take a look at what comes in the box. Inside here, they do give you a nice little carrying case to go with this thing. So that's kind of a bonus that the other ones don't have with it. Coming with its own protective bag. So you get a charging cord. It is USB to USB-C. Inside here, also get kind of that same tripod. This thing is all made out of metal. You got the 1/4-inch thread on there. So on the bottom, 1/4-inch thread there. Got the charging port right there under the rubber cover. Does have a screen protector, which I leave in there. A couple buttons on the top, power and return, options, delete, okay, and then your up and down buttons right there. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up. Just push the power button for a couple seconds. Well, you can see all that. Press OK to continue. Right here we get into it right away. Quick start. If you don't want energy or anything like that, just go to quick start. Hit the OK button. Tell it what we're shooting. We're doing a rifle. Which category of velocities, what range are we in right there. Pick whichever one. Start shooting. You're off and running. So this thing, in one series, you can shoot 100 shots on it. So if you just want to just collect some numbers off this thing, that's just kind of the quick way to go about it. Let's back it up. We can go down here. If we want to start a new session, hit OK. Again, tell it what we're doing. You can give it the projectile weight, up and down. Get there, change it to whatever you're going to do, hit OK, and then you're up and running. When we're on this screen, we can go ahead and run through. Up there it changed to average, standard deviation, extreme spread. It's deviation from average is what that one is. It will give you kinetic energy when you put the bullet weight in. It will also give you power factor. Now, I don't really know how they add up their power factor, but yeah, it is what it is. All right, back to average. Let's go back through some of these options on here. If we wanted to go to a previous session, so we wanted to go into it again, use your toggle up and down here on the side. Hit OK to previous. Now I've only got one in here that I did a little bit earlier. Hit OK on there, and I fired 3 shots across that. So now that's where you get your options, is your summaries, shot record, delete the whole thing, whatever you want to do. Let's back out of here again. If we go down to settings right there, okay, you can change your display, how bright it is, the backlight timing on there, your velocity, your energy, what language. Do you want to connect it to your phone? That can come in later when we pair it with the app. Date and time, you can set all that stuff, format your memory, and about. So let's back out of all of this, because this does have an internal memory and an internal battery on it. So the only way to get the information off of this is to use the app on the phone. So we are going to start a new session. We're going to shoot some with the 6.5 Creedmoor. So rifle, we do want the higher velocity. And let's go ahead and change that to a 140. There we go. Hit OK. Now let's set her up on the bench. Okay, let's go ahead, just crack off a few shots here. Now in the instruction manual, it tells you that you should be somewhere between about 4 and 10 or 11 inches off the barrel there, you know, but from the muzzle. So it's just kind of like all the other ones, the Garmin, the Lab Radar, just kind of have it somewhere up there beside it and point it somewhat down range, because there is no real aiming feature on it. I think they've got a fairly wide berth of being able to catch that with that Doppler radar. So let's go ahead, we'll take a couple shots, see what we get for velocities off of it. That's 30. Of course, I don't have that on camera. That is literally probably 3/8 of an inch on those 3 shots. This American gunner shoots amazingly well out of this gun, so I figured that's why we'd run it across the chronograph. And our average is 2519.7 on those 3. We hit our middle button there, standard deviation 14.4, extreme spread 30.8. 13 off of average. Kinetic energy should be 1973.3. Yep, and power factor 352.8. So, as a little bit of a comparison, I put the magneto speed on there, so we'll take 5 shots and see what both of them say, if there's any type of difference in them for velocity or average velocity or anything. So let's just do a quick start rifle, high speed. All right, 5 shots, here we go. All right, that's 5. Let's see here. Average on the magneto speed, 25.25. Average on the Rangecraft is 25.29. So let's see here. SD 24.5, SD 30 on that. Extreme spread, yeah. So, a little bit of a difference on there. So let's go to the shot records here. Let's start. Oops. Get that back where we want it. Let's start at shot 1. Magneto speed said 2513. Rangecraft said 2526. Shot 2, 2551 versus 2556, so that's a little bit closer. Shot 3, 2527 on the Rangecraft, 2529, so that's a little closer on the Magneto speed with it. Shot 4, 2486 on the Rangecraft, 2480 on the Magneto speed, and shot number 5, 2551 versus 2553 on the Magneto speed. So a few feet per second difference on every shot. So there are a few feet per second difference between the Magneto speed and the Rangecraft. Which one is right? Who knows? I mean, I'll say that I've been pretty close on using the Magneto speed when running the Ballistic app in the phone, but it seems like I've always got to tweak it. So the fact that the average is about 4.8 feet per second difference from the Magneto speed to the Rangecraft. The Rangecraft is reading it just a little bit faster at 2,529.8 versus on the Magneto speed it's just 2,525, or yeah, 25 feet per second. So a little over 4 feet per second difference, which that's gonna get you in the wheelhouse when you are adjusting your Ballistic app on your phone or in your Kestrel, because Lord knows you always got to change some BC or a little bit of velocity, sometimes combination of both, to get things to line up downrange for you. From shot to shot, the difference was about 5 or 6 feet per second on there, with the widest one being the very first shot, which was 13 feet per second different. Now I'm going to go ahead and shoot some .22 long rifle suppressed. This stuff should be some standard velocity stuff. It should come out underneath the speed of sound, so let's see if this thing will pick it up. Let's just turn on the GoPro here. Hopefully that'll see that. Let's just go quick start, rifle, turn it to the lower bracket, and there we go. I'll just go ahead and run 5 rounds on steel here. Yep, 1,066. Didn't get out of there. $1,058, 1,062, 1,040, 1,030. Yep, all out. So on this thing, let's just say that last shot, if somebody else was shooting around us and it went ahead and picked something up, all you got to do is hold the very center one, the option, and delete. If you hold that for a few seconds, it's going to ask you if you want to delete that shot. On this one, we don't need to, but if we wanted to, then you hit yes, okay, and you come right back. So again, as you hit that center in there, standard deviation 13.8, 35.4 extreme spread, yep, and 12.2 deviation from average. So kinetic energy, yeah, we didn't put that in there. All right, there we go. So on the triggering of this, I'd be interested to see how much difference we get if we move that unit around. You know, is it going to trigger it Isn't it? You know, or is it going to change anything in velocity? Are we going to have much difference from average when we move it around here? So I'm going to start a different shot string. Rifle, turn it to the slow one. And I am going to move this all the way back here. Turn on the GoPro here. A little bit of glare going. There we go. Let's see if this will pick this up from back here and what the average of this stuff is. Yep. 1038. 1023. 1053. Let's go ahead and we'll move this thing even further back here. I'll put it clear back here behind me. Let's see what that does. Yep, picked it up. For that matter, I'm actually pointed way over that way. Right about there is where it should be. Go for the headshot. Got her. And 1048.2. It's definitely still working. So looking at the average velocity between the two positions up there, when it was up front, it was 1051. When it was back here, it was 1042. So 9 feet per second difference. You know, was it just the 5 shots, or, you know, was there any difference between there? But I would bet that's a pretty extreme measure of putting it behind you to right up there at the muzzle. Anywhere in here, I don't think you're going to see any difference in velocities from the positionment of having it front to back on the table anywhere. It'll all probably come out what I would say would be close enough. So now what I'm going to try doing is shooting fairly fast. Like, if we were shooting in a competition, you would be running pretty quick. With this thing having a 1/4 inch mount on the bottom side of it, you'd be able to get one of those adapters to, if you had an arcer rail, it's got a clamp on it and hang the thing off the side, but will it hang with the speed of fast firing? So I'm going to go ahead and just shoot 3 rounds pretty quick down there and see if that thing will keep up and read all 3 of the shots. Once this car gets past. Three shots, here we go. Let's see if it'll pick up this speed. Yep, it picked up all 3 shots, so that's not doing too bad. That's about as fast as I'm probably going to ratchet anything off in competition. Well, so far so good with this little guy. It has picked up every shot that we've thrown down range, slow or fast, all of it being suppressed, which that's where I did find on the newer lab radar that once in a while on the suppressed 22 especially, you missed some shots here and there. I don't think that it triggered it. Where this, I think the triggering mechanism is a little bit different, and regardless of where it's sitting, it picked up all of those shots on the 6.5 and the 22 shooting that subsonic ammo. So it was real close to the magneto speed, you know, within 4 or 5 feet per second, which we tested the Garmin a while back. Unfortunately, I didn't have my cameras around when we run it, but it was in that same wheelhouse, that I'd say 4 to 6 feet per second. Just close with that magneto speed anyway. So this and the Garmin are within the same realm realistically as far as accuracy goes compared to my V3 magneto speed. But now we do have 5 range sessions on here, and if we want to go back, you can go through there, and they are arranged by date and time of day, and you just hit OK, and it will open it back up, and it'll ask you what you want to do. If you just want to look at the summary right there, it'll tell your info. You can go back and you can look at each shot. Turn that down. There is shot record, and then you can go through and you can scroll through all your shots that you took on there. Now, since this does not have a memory card that you can take out and plug into your laptop or whatever, you do have to Bluetooth this thing up with their app, and then you can take this info and put it into their Ballistic app. Let me open that up, and we'll show you how some of that works too. Let me try to give you a little bit of a rundown on the app itself here. We're just kind of going to do a quick overview of it, just because I haven't had enough time with it, and especially I haven't been able to go out to the bigger range and stretch it out and see how well the ballistic calculator does on it. So maybe I'll do, another video on that side of it later, seeing how well that matches up. But for right now, we'll just do kind of a general overview of the app itself. I mean, if you can't tell, the first go run at this didn't work out. The audio was jacked up, so hopefully this is the second time I've done this, and maybe this one will turn out a little bit better. So let's get into this. You download their Athlon Ballistics app, click into it. Looks kind of familiar, like a few of the other apps there. At the top, you basically have your rifle selection. You decide which one you want. Hit done there. Next to it, which ammunition you're using. Right now I've only got one, just that American Gunner kind of logged in there. So we'll hit done on that. Up top, you've got the sliding scales. I do like these, especially on a hunting scenario where it's super quick to just zip through these if we just need to do a shot on here. So you've got your distance. It'll immediately correlate down there at the bottom where it says elevation. It'll automatically start adjusting that. Once you stop, your wind speed kind of does the exact same thing there. We can adjust that quick. Then you got target angle up and down. Here for the wind, we can adjust that. Which direction is it coming from? Change it that way. And then there's the reticle part. It can show you the holdover that you should be using. Of course, this is an Athlon app, so you're going to have their reticles built into this thing. And I guess I haven't seen anybody else's that in here while I've been messing with it. But you can also select the target. So if we want to IPSC, shows you that. Let's change it up. Go to prairie dog. Got a coyote on there. I don't know if I so much agree with their shot placement of behind the shoulder on there. I'm more of a dead on the shoulder type of guy when it comes to killing coyotes. I think it hammers them right there and knocks them down a little bit better than that behind the shoulder stuff. That's on a deer, yes. A coyote, no. But whatever. So we're done on that. The little grid pattern here, if we click on it, it kind of gives you more of your traditional just layout, energy, velocity, times of flight, windage correction in mils, inches, elevation correction, mils, inches, and it goes all the way out to 2,000 yards. So definitely probably further than what I'm going to try to shoot with this little 20-inch barreled 6.5. Done on that. The weather. You can just go off your local weather on here, or you can manually input it. Let's back up on that. I gotta put it in. So let's go back. Well, let's go up top here and hit the menu button in here. Of course, you got the calculator, which we were just on there. All your bullet and gun profiles. This is where you can select them, erase the whole thing, manage them. If you want to change something. Oops. Got that. There's a couple of videos there that you can watch about it. The manage your devices. I don't have their thermals or anything, so yeah, I don't need to do that either. And then it gets down to connect device. Now, I guess on my phone it tells me that I do have to have the location turned on, and then the Bluetooth, and then you can, hit that. Mine, I've already connected to it, so I got to hit reconnect to it. Now it's locked up in there with it. Let's actually back that up and see if down there on the bottom on the left, let's do only this time. It's scanning for it. It should pop up a number here, which of course on mine is already there. So connecting to it. When you go into this, then that's where your information from here is. And of course you can select a rifle or pistol or whatever you were running there. So we got rifle in there. If you click on it, it can go in, and then it shows your shots. You can edit a shot out of it, your projectile weight, the notes of it. But you can select a rifle. That was actually the 22, which in here, it does not have 22 long rifle profiles, so I'm kind of making something here. But this is also where you, like it says there, send velocity to that profile, which we've already done. Let's back out of this. And let's go ahead and I'll show you, they do have a library in here. Let's go back to the rifles. Let's make a new one here. So we'll just do my 308 Savage on here. It is a right hand twist. It's a 10 twist. Scope height on that is about 1.8. It is in mils. Click value, 10th mil, 10th mil. And here is where your reticle options start in. So you can kind of scroll through. They got a few choices here. Those are all second focal plane. So if you click on the first focal plane, now it gives you all their options of what they have for first focal planes for holdovers in there. So we'll just pick one since I don't have any of those. And then you would hit done. Hit done there. Let's click on that. Done. We need to build a bullet for this thing. So new. And this is where we'll do 175 Sierra Match King, we'll say. We can go into this bullet library in here. Drop that down so you can see. Again, there is no 22 long rifle to it. Let's go find 308, and then you can even select a vendor. So click on Federal, because they've got it in a factory offering right there, 175 Botel Hollow Point. So I've noticed this on my other ones, it does not give you the bullet length on there. So we're just going to put in, it's somewhere around there, we'll call that good just to complete it. Zero distance, all my rifles are set at 100 yards. Done. There is no offset, but if it was, it'd be in mils. So, and then you can add some notes and hit done in there. So, done and done. Now, it automatically populates that into this one-shot screen up here on the calculator. Or click it in here. So let's take a look at 1,000 yards here. 11.18 mils is what it's given us. So, alright, back to done. So, overall, I think that they did lay this out super intuitively. I mean, it's nice and easy. You just want to start it up, just hit the power, turn it on, hit OK, OK, OK a third time, and we can start shooting rifles. It doesn't get any simpler than that, and so far, I'm really liking this thing for 350 bucks. I guess we'll see how long this thing lasts. I mean, I use these things, on a weekly basis, so they definitely get their work time put in on them. So if you like today's video, remember, hit that thumbs up button for me, helps me out. And you can follow along and watch all this stuff on the Hide TV over at Sniper's Hide, Rumble, and on YouTube. And if you want to follow me along on Instagram, I do, put some occasional pictures, other stuff that doesn't always make it into, a video like this. So thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.